Welcome back to another episode of Challenge Mode. As always, we're trying to push games to their limits like idiots to see what's possible. Today, we're going to jump back into A Hat in Time to test its platforming waters once more. The game is centered around a character known as Hat Kid, who collects yarn to make hats. She must use these hats to get through various obstacles to collect hourglasses. After collecting 25 of them, she can fight the final boss and use them to get home. However, there's just one problem with that, and it's that hats are just too much for my simple platforming brain to understand. I can't seem to use them, and learning them would be too much effort. So today, I want to see, is it possible to beat A Hat in Time without using any hats? For the basis of this challenge, there's only two requirements that we have to follow. The first is that throughout this entire run we cannot use hats. If we do, we need to reload the level and start from the beginning. In addition to this, our second requirement is that we are not going to collect a single piece of yarn throughout this playthrough. Yarn is what is used to make all the hats you would need, so we're going to try to avoid it as much as possible. Even if we were to collect yarn, it wouldn't give us a hat right away. We'd still be in the clear, but I want to be avoiding it if possible. With the rules set in motion, we're going to throw away our thinking caps and jump right into the fray. We start off in Chapter 1, a world which has been overtaken by a fish-loving mafia gang. Hitting the ground running, we beat the first few levels without any issues. The hat we'd normally make in this world would be the speed hat, which would grant us a burst of speed for as long as we wore it. In reality, it's really more of a convenience than a necessity. That being said, we jump across plenty of platforms and dodge waves of furious foes before clearing out a lot of the easy acts. During this time, we go out of our way to collect a good number of pawns, the in-game currency. We do this so later on we can unlock levels easily without having to do extra money grinding. After breezing through most of Chapter 1, we unlock some extra acts to do there. These extra acts are key for us to be able to get through the game. As mentioned before, we need to collect 25 hourglasses to unlock the final boss level. Some levels are going to be completely blocked off to us because of our hat restriction. So after beating those two extra acts, we're going to have to leave one act behind. This is an act that normal humans can't do without a special hat. I've seen it done before without a hat, but I can't get the timing right and I'm terrible at gaming. So with all this, it gives us a grand total of 8 hourglasses collected so far. We skip over Chapter 2 for now and head on over to Chapter 3 for Forest Adventure. A tier where things become a tad tricky, but nothing too outrageous. Entering the forest, we blow through the first act and straight into the second. This is where badges become mandatory. To progress, you must collect the hookshot badge to pull the chain and start the second half of the act. From here, you can make it to the top normally, but I found it more fun to skip parts and get to the top with half the stage incomplete. This isn't required for the run, it's just neat to show how much we can break the game while doing this challenge. We grab our hourglasses and proceed onwards to the next act. Acts 3 and 4 are pretty simple and don't give us a super big challenge. The only thing worth mentioning was actually getting to Act 4. You'd normally use the Dweller's Mask to create platforms, but with some good positioning and platforming we can get over some ice walls and finish the act. Once those two acts are done, we complete the extra ones, and that's it for this chapter. The last main act of this chapter we can't complete due to needing the speed hat. Since we can't finish that act, we also miss out on the boss battle. So this leaves us with a total of 14 hourglasses collected and gets us over halfway to our goal. Now we head back over to Chapter 2 to become a bird and a movie star. The first two acts start off easy as we only need hats to get extra collectibles and to make things quicker. So after doing some light speedrunning strats to get through the acts, we find ourselves hitting a small roadblock. However, this roadblock requires us to have the hookshot badge to get through, which is exactly why we did the chapters out of order in the first place. Thanks to that, we can just waltz on through the act. While the speed hat would be especially nice to have during this timed running segment, it's not really a requirement to beat it, so after we finish that up, we can blow through the rest of this chapter and finish up with 23 hourglasses in tow. At this point in the run, I was beginning to worry that maybe this challenge was too easy, but I was proven wrong when entering the free-roaming final chapter. Unlike the other chapters in this game, this is just a free-roaming haven to get all the hourglasses. So now, with only 2 hourglasses needed, we need to beat 2 of the 4 paths to get the last hourglasses required. With reckless abandon, we jump right into one of the paths and go for it. This path requires that we climb all the way to the top of a peak to get to a zipline. Then from there we can explore through some birdhouses to collect our final prize. In all honesty, getting to the path that led to the birdhouses was definitely the hardest part of this one. Without the brewer's hat to make a path for us, we have to make a new one. This took me around an hour to do, but after trying all sorts of jumps, this is the formula I ended up with. First, you need to follow the main path. You'll get to a crate you'd normally have to break open with the brewer's hat, but we can actually use our highest jump to reach a part of the wall that's climbable, then proceed from there. We follow the path more and end up at another set of crates. With a careful jump, we can aim behind them and land on a very small platform, and then just wall jump up to continue. Upon getting up to the base platform, we have to scale a small mountain to reach a bridge. From that bridge to a small alcove with some hearts on it. With this, we now need to line ourselves up with a wooden pole and jump off of it into a tree branch above. After that, we let Hat Kid slide down, but gently move ourselves over, so as she slides down, she lands on solid ground next to her. Once up here, we need a long jump over to a higher bridge than before. Then, for one final feat of fancy, we do a long jump over to a wall, climb it up and jump off of it, then catch the edge of one more bridge and climb. With victory, we ascend to the birdhouses and dance. Mostly through the rest of the act to get the hourglass. The other path I chose was the lava cake, which as deadly as it sounds, it wasn't really. With a few basic jumps, we can get through this act and obtain our 25th hourglass. With 25 hourglasses now secured, it's time to face our final challenge. With the boss chapter unlocked, we need to gather our wits about us as it tests us immediately. When you go to enter the chapter, a gate forms up in front of the path and forces us to use all the hats to open it. While this looks pretty daunting, I was able to find out that you can bypass the whole thing. If you head over to the left side of the room, you can actually jump onto a grandfather clock. If you position yourself just right, you can actually get enough height to get above the gate, letting you pass through the entrance no problem. This chapter is going to be the biggest challenge yet, as it's a gauntlet which uses every kind of hat to get through it. So after a quick stair climb, we proceed through the first part of the Okay, so this is a problem. The wall here requires the Dweller's Mask to get through. Normally you'd be able to flip on the mask and walk through the door, but it looks like we're in a tight spot here. After trying to get through this wall with several methods, I had to turn to the speedrunning community to see if they could help me out. After watching some speedruns, it turns out you can do a level skip in this act. If you go to the gauntlet's entrance, you can actually do a lava hop to get out of bounds. From there, you can actually climb up the level and glide along the edge of it to the end. Okay, so this sounds easy enough, but let's give it a shot. Well, that's a kick in the head. It looks like there's only one thing left for us to do, and that's to play the entire challenge again on the 1.0 version of the game. Oh boy. If we do the whole thing again on the first version of the game, we can actually use the level skip glitch this time to bypass the final level. So after about an hour of attempts, I managed to get one semi-successful run. Now, if you were good at video games, you'd probably be able to get this glitch to work as intended. Well, I'm not. I got the glitch to bring me 2/3 of the way through the level. From there, however, we get incredibly lucky, as this last area of the level doesn't end in another impassable wall. After a quick run through of the labyrinth, we put Mustache Girl back in her place, and finally prove once and for all that it is absolutely possible to beat a hat in time without ever using a single hat. We also proved it is 100% possible to do this entire challenge without ever collecting a single piece of yarn. I just wanted to give the Hat in Time speedrunning community a thanks for all their help. I don't know what I would have done if they couldn't find the out of bounds skip. You can check out the speedrun I used for help in the links below. You can also find my social media links down there as well. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, let me know in the comments below and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Also tell me some challenges I should try and how I should improve overall. I'm gonna go over charge for the next one, so good night everybody.